Welcome to this low-tech lesson on how to run a focus group. Focus groups began as part of marketing research. Like you've probably seen on sitcoms where people are giving opinions of some sort of product, but now focus groups are widely used in social sciences. They're a convenient way to gather a group of people and get in-depth feedback on a specific topic, and they're very interactive, so people play off one another, which often creates even more depth of conversation. To run a focus group, you typically want to have 6 to 12 participants. Any less than 6 participants, and the group might be too skimpy. And if any more than 12 participants, and the group sometimes gets unwieldy, it gets hard to manage because too many people are talking at once. Depending on who's talking and what the topic is, you typically want a focus group to last between 1 and 2 hours. For my own research, because I'm often working with people who have trauma backgrounds or substance disorders and may have attentional issues, I tend to keep them a little shorter than that because they may have trouble focusing for that long. So I go around 45 minutes. You want to have 8 to 12 prompts for your focus group. So you start out usually with a few prompts to build rapport, and then you work into the meaty questions that you really want to ask, and then you try to do some uplifting questions at the end so that they feel good after they've left your focus group context. So things like positivity for the future and strengths that they have and things like that. If you are audio or videotaping, you take a good recorder, and I usually like to take a second recorder in case the batteries go dead on one, or I forget to push the button, or the sound quality gets muffled. Sometimes I will have issues with sound on one side of the room, so I try to place them far apart from one another, and that always helps. And in addition to recorders, I often like to have a note taker as well. That person can help me manage the focus group, and they can also help map out where the participants are sitting so that I can make some notes about who said what. I often like to have 2 recorders if I'm in a place where I cannot use audio recording. So I use 2 note takers to write down the notes if I cannot have 2 tape recorders. Now there are also some limitations of focus groups, and one of the biggest limitations of a focus group is that you can't guarantee that everyone that's there is going to keep the information confidential. So you need to warn your participants of this limitation that although you will keep the information confidential, you encourage them to do so, but you can't guarantee that it's going to actually be abided by all those in the group. So that's one limitation. Sometimes people won't want to open up in a focus group as well, because in a group setting they might not want to admit certain things, like that they engaged in a certain behavior, that they were taken advantage of. So if you're talking about more sensitive topics, sometimes it's better to do a one-on-one interview than to actually do a focus group. But still, the ability to get all these people in a room at one time, hear all of their opinions and how their opinions actually complement one another or contradict one another, can really be useful information, and it makes it a very useful tool for research and evaluation. So thank you for joining me for this low-tech lesson on how to run a focus group.